You're welcome back. As President Bola Ahmed Tinubu marks his third year anniversary in office, his administration's national security scorecard draws intense public debate. The assessment reveals a stark divide between the federal government's self-evaluation and the security realities reported on the ground. The federal government maintains that national security has significantly stabilized, pointing to enhanced operational capabilities and intelligence successes. Defense Minister Christopher Musa rated the administration's performance between 65 to 70%. He emphasized that terrorism has been drastically reduced to isolated incidents compared to the widespread threats of previous years. Despite the government's positive reporting, independent analysts and opposition leaders point to significant gaps in the protection and protecting of citizens, highlighted by a troubled surge in mass adoptions in the country. The primary disconnect in Tinubu's 3-year security scorecard lies between strategic micro-victories, weakening major terrorist fractions, and micro-vulnerabilities. The persistent daily threats of banditry and kidnapping facing ordinary citizens. Now, to have this conversation, I'm joined by Samson Tinubu'S, who is a security expert and founder of 1145 Allied Protection. Mr. Samson, it's a delight to have you join me on Correro.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's a good time to talk about the whole President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, especially looking at his scorecard. But then, from a security perspective, looking at what the president has been able to do and what the minister have said that the president have also been able to achieve so far. If you want to place the achievement of the president in a scale of 1 to 10, where will you place this administration? That's on one hand. And of course, if you were presenting a security report right now to Nigerians, what grade will you assign to the administration and why?
Good evening, Nigerians and viewers all over the world. And thanks once again for having me. Okay, this subject matter is a concern to everyone. We that are privileged to do one or two things knows that is quite pressing to all of us. First, as citizens, and as one who feels responsibilities are placed on the shoulders of Mr. President. Now, going by what is going on or what is on ground, what is obtainable today, you cannot rule out the fact that there are gains. Things are being done compared to what has been going on. But then the reality on ground also is also speaking on the other hand. So this particular subject is that of a wide debate with a lot of beyond opinions, realities that you can place hand, because modern day security challenges keep emanating and you cannot just rule them out, because the way they are going, they are intense, especially this recent school children issue. So when we look at it, if you say you want to place it on a scorecard, first of all, we would want to first commend Mr. President so far for all the effort. But again, we need to also look at it from the other perspective. Mr. President is in charge, but the responsibility is a collective one. As a citizen or as citizens, regardless of who we are looking up to, we still have roles to play. And part of what I should be saying now, instead of looking at the debate, basically should be, how do we get out of this? Because there must be a way to get out of it. Instead of trying to measure and figure this percentage, this other percentage, the challenge we have is beyond what we should be drawing up with scale now. We should be focusing on realities in terms of solutions, profiling ways to address them and address them critically. First of all, Mr. President is not a policeman, for instance, and I'm not speaking on his behalf either. But then, as a country, we have to stand up as citizens and begin to take responsibilities. we all have communities. We all come from places, and all these things that are happening are not happening on TV. They are happening in places that are physical. Then, but government can also do the needful too by, for instance, empowering private security industry.
Oh, before we get to that point,
yeah.
you've said that, of course, you have outrightly said you wouldn't want to even rate the president based on, from a security angle and giving the scorecard by even giving president on a percentage level. 1 to 10. You've deliberately avoided that particular part of the conversation. But then, you said there are gains so far that the president have made. The question is, right now, between 2023 till date, can we say that Nigerians are safer right now?
Like I said earlier, these are challenges.
But are we safer right now?
To a large extent, we are faced with challenges.
You know, because we listen to the Honorable Minister of Defense giving his own rating, saying between 60% have been an improvement, even in terms of security. But then, if you look at it on a generic perspective, you are a security personnel, looking at it holistically from a security angle, can we say that Nigerians are safer right now? Are the highways safe? Are we right? Can we sleep with our 2 eyes closed across board in the country? Help us even understand this.
Okay, one thing I will also want you to understand in this aspect is the minister's evaluation or rating is based on his own assessment and the information before him, and also, of course, you know what his office stands for. So I may not want to throw too much light into that because his office deals with a lot, and I believe that what is before us currently and the highways you're mentioning right now are issues we have been dealing with over time, and but it's becoming more worrisome. And mind you, we are also at the eve of election. If you check, like you said, before 2023, we had things on security like this, but in different dimensions. Today, we are seeing, because even threat itself keep evolving, and the challenges also are evolving. So we won't say because of somebody's analysis, we will say, okay, he's outrightly correct or he's outrightly wrong, or you want to say, okay, this is my own personal analysis. First of all, I am not seated here as a spokesperson to
brief for the minister,
either for him or on a security note.
But then you are a security expert.
Yeah.
But then the government have repeatedly claimed that terrorist groups have been degraded. We've heard Ribadu, the NSA. It came out even last year to say that, of course, you can give him a thumbs up on that security. But then we listened to Christopher Musa also saying almost the same rhetoric. Now, let's even try to tie this because we continue to see attacks in part of the northeastern part of Nigeria. How do we reconcile these realities as the operational capacity of groups such as Boko Haram and Islamic State of West Africa and ISIS province continually decline under this administration? Can we say that for sure right now?
Of course, the truth is, regardless of the tactical gains, regardless of the heavy operations that are being carried out, you know that criticisms also helps to refine things. Now, going by design, when you launch an attack, were you really expecting that the other parties fold their hands? Because these are part of what we are facing. Even when 2 people fight and you're holding one party, even the one that was on the ground will still be putting muzzle like, I would have finished or I would have killed him. So these are, if you begin to narrow these things down, you realize that, yes, we admit that we have challenges. And I can also tell you for sure that our military guys, the security agencies, have been doing a lot. But yet, more are required. We need more effort. And part of this effort is also geared towards the government, based on decision making. Because whatever we need to deal with this issue are right before us. We have intellects, we have capacity. It's just the willpower that the government need to roll in.
All right, let's look at the whole issue around kidnapping and banditry, which remains one of Nigerians' biggest security concerns as it stands right now, because according to People's Gazette, Nigeria, they recorded that about 600 students have been kidnapped between 2023 till date. Now, if you even look at the recent incident that played out in Oyo State a couple of days back, where 32 school children were kidnapped, of course, 7 teachers were also involved, and one of the teachers, by the report that is circulating online, was also has been beheaded, allegedly, at this point. But then, looking at all of these put together, can we say that with what we are seeing on ground, as kidnapping and also banditry, has it reduced or shifted geographically? Because right now it tends to be, the truth is that it tends to be that the kidnapping and banditry is moving from the north to the western part of Nigeria, to the southern part of Nigeria. But so can we say it has reduced, or it is just shifting geographically?
The truth is, if you say geographically, I may agree with you. Then in terms of reduce, yeah, it has reduced, but then there is also tactical regrouping. These things that are happening today in the West, some time ago it was the southeastern region. Of course, the North has always been the headquarter of the whole issue. But then if you play back, like I said originally, you realize that at every point in time, this keep reoccurring. Remember the Chibok girls. It's the same way. The issue is we need to begin to look at issues that are very critical. For instance, considering what is going on, are we not supposed to start discussing on how to put proper measure on school safety? Should we wait till something happens, we start reacting?
But there is a school safety program even being put in place just to get that record.
Are they working?
Of course, the NSCDC, the National Security Civil Defense Corps, will say that they have an arm of that civil defense corps that is in charge of school protection program.
Is that enough?
Well, so you're saying that it's not enough?
No, I'm asking you.
I'm not a security expert. You are the security expert. Okay. So you're saying it's not enough to address those concerns?
Why I just ask, is that enough? First? If you had visited a couple of schools, you could tell me how many presents you have seen. See, at this point, it's beyond one agency having a unit that addresses that. It's more of a collective effort. We have numerous private security companies in the country. Most are well trained already that could help in addressing these things. If the government can absorb. I was happy some days back when I saw Mr. President announcing the Office of the Homeland Security. Some of these offices can help to treat this. We shouldn't be waiting. It pains the grief in my heart when I saw this recent Oyo incident. It was so heavy. It cost me food and sleepless night for days.
Well, let's even look at states that the president and, of course, the NSA have gone to visit.
Yeah.
Right now, they visited Oyo State. Yeah. They visited Benue State. They visited Plateau State. Of course, the president by himself went to Plateau State. But then the whole situation in Benue and Plateau State, farmers headed clashes and communal conflicts continue to even rise. How will you then assess this state so far being visited by the president? Is it that the visits had no impact on this state?
I wouldn't say that the visitor has no impact. I would always say that it's a call to responsibility. I will also let you know that part of the issues we have is that I think we pay more attention to politics than governance. It is high time we begin to look more into governance and the people, because there will be no government if there are no people. And the government itself exists for the people. So it's high time we begin to look more into this angle instead of the level of attention we give to politics. But of course, you know that today security is politics and politics is security. That's where we are currently. Thank you.
Well, when we look again at the state of Nigeria right now,
Yeah.
and looking at the president's speech and placing the speech of Mr. President and the state of the country simultaneously, can Nigerians say at this point that they are more proud to be Nigerians at this point in time, even going by the president's speech on celebrating his third year in office?
Well, regardless of all the challenges we are faced with, we have to remain proud of our country. I am proud of my country.
And perhaps you don't live in conflict, perhaps because you don't live in conflict-prone zones.
No. I've been to places.
So, okay.
So I have experience. In fact, I understand most of these things. So, but what I'm saying in essence is that if you look at it holistically, there is no government that doesn't face critical challenges as this, in some cases even tougher. But the issue is, after looking at all this, it is high time you don't use 20 years ago measure to deal with 21st century challenges. It is high time we begin to look at, we have done this and this. This is where we got to. At this point, are we stuck or are we moving forward? Now, what do we need to do? We are even looking at, we are living in a technological age. What are we doing? Have we measured up enough? What next are we supposed to do? Okay, put X, Y, Z together. Come, what do we need to do? Where we are is beyond saying our security agencies are working. They are doing a lot, but then they need assistance beyond what they are doing, because the country is wide, and citizens have role to play in getting all these things achieved. And because the peace we are talking about is my peace, is your peace. So
are you saying there is some form of conspiracy theory somewhere that is playing out to even twist the government in order not to perform optimally?
Generally, every government, even in Nigeria precisely, there is no government that has not faced one challenge or the other, including security issues. You cannot take it out. The records are there. There is no particular government. In fact, if you look closely towards elections like this, there are few trends you can categorically highlight. They are clear. You're a journalist, you know what I'm saying.
So since you've taken us to elections, let's even, if elections were to hold today in the country, based on solely on security performance, does Tinubu deserve a second term?
I'm not a politician.
No, if you look at if the election is to happen today, look, let's go by the security. You've said, of course, there is no government that has not performed. But if we were to conduct an election today, does the current administration deserve a second term mandate?
Like I said earlier, if an election were to hold today, first of all, there is a body that handles election affairs. So a report from them will first provide a guide. You get? Because they are also in the country, they are not imported. So the report from them should have said X, Y, Z about security, or negative or positive, red or yellow. So it's not about me now sitting and just...
But they perform that duty once in a year. Once in 4 years.
No.
They perform that duty once in 4 years.
Even though they perform the duty
and
once
they can only speak out when there's a security threat that will hamper the election.
They are not isolated. So? They are not working alone.
They also when they have a situation that will affect, that will be detrimental to the elections, of course, they will have to speak out. Of course, they will report it.
Yes. That's why they are saddled with the responsibility, and of course, reports coming from them are very vital for implementation.
Well, so you're saying at this point, that if there should be an election today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu deserves a second time.
I'm not a politician. I don't know how to compare.
It's a yes or a no.
I wouldn't speak. I'm not a party person. So
of course, you're a Nigerian. Of course,
I'm a Nigerian.
And you have a saying.
Once I have the opportunity,
you are enshrined in the Nigerian. It is enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution, Section 39.
Yeah.
That gives you the freedom of expression.
But when it comes to voting, the expression is at a political.
If you are to speak at this point in time, talking about second term or not, solely on security, you think that this administration deserves a second term?
Well, we still have time for the election, so we cannot overrule.
Well, let me allow you, but you've spoken so much about the whole security situation in the country, and of course, looking at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration and this third year in office, a lot of things tend to be missing. There tend to be a very wide gap, lacunas, even in security, the security space. But what single reform would most drastically improve Nigeria's security outlook over the next 2 years?
Okay. First of all, I think that's an area I'm very, very interested in. You know, over time we've talked about the issue of state policing, community policing, especially the community policing. You see, once we get this right from the grassroots, the journey has kick-started properly. It is not enough to win a territory and move your equipment to another territory. What happens? There is no sustainability. But with community policing, from the grassroots, we have community leaders, we have youth leaders, religious organization, you know, we have all this. Trust me, we can get it right. Regardless of how deep this whole thing has eaten into the system, we can drastically retrace the steps, holistically. Only and if we remove politics from it. Because that is the elephant in the bowl.
So will private security experts like yourself even have any impact in the scheme of things?
That is where the solution is.
Private security organization.
I can tell you categorically that is where the solution is.
How?
Now look at it. Look at the population. Look at the landscape. Are you telling me that the soldier or the police that has been in the forest that is not working? No, we won't say that. But the whole thing is so enormous. And we have private security companies. What happens if they are empowered? It can be a statement. And you bring them on board. Trust me, collaboration between especially from this private security angle. You know, all I usually advocate about that is just to put a framework that oversees the activities, to make sure somebody doesn't take advantage of it and blow things the other way. But on the other hand, but you can imagine in Nigeria alone we have more than 300 private security companies that are well trained, active, very well. What happens if you now review among the 300? Maybe you can get 200 that their personnel are qualified to bear light weapons, for instance. Do you know the number of manpower that will come from there? Let's assume you decide to divide those manpower for communities or for schools, for instance. If you come to a local government and you have 50 schools, and each of the schools have security presence, at least, let's say, 5 to 6 personnel, what do you think you have done? Have you not created something in that locality? It is difficult for a school to be isolated in such area and something of this nature that is going on now happen. True of us. By the time you wait for only the police, what is the manpower today? Let's look at it. Let's look at it. By the time you move all attention to one direction, like now, today, it is Oyo State. What happens to Ogun State, the neighboring state? What happens to Cross River? What happens to even the Benue here? Are people not living there? Are people not from there? Are there no leaders? Remember, there are still communities in the country where the community leaders are still in charge of their community to the point that even for you to offend your neighbor, you already have it at the back of your mind that you're going to answer to the community leader. So you make haste to make peace in this country. So what happens when you bring this thing to the grassroots? Insecurity will look for his way out like this.
Well, Mr. Samson Tinubu'S, I wish we have time to further expand on some of the things you're saying, because it sounds very interesting, even coming from you. But then a practical demonstration of some of this theory that you're propounding to the government as it stands right now might also hit the bricks by looking at it holistically. But then I'm not here to fault and punch holes to that particular theory. My job is just to ensure that we get the facts, the theories, the truth out there for Nigerians to be able to make informed decisions. But right now, I've been signaled that our time is fast spent. I wish we have time to dissect on this issue. But definitely we'll bring you back again to help us understand and make sense with all of this. But on this note, I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Samson Tinubu'S, for finding out time to be with us here on Corero.
Thank you very much. And to the viewers, one of the things I would also like to say before I leave is that, you know, most times we are so emotional. When issues happen, people can be quick to do protests, express themselves, go to social media, you know, generate attention, generate traffic. After a few likes and few other things, it dies down there. Beyond all those things, we need to also sit back and begin to engage in meaningful deliberation and engagement that provide solution to the immediate problems. Not just to go and create attention at the social media and it dies there. You know, we are funny people. After a few days, that chapter closes. We'll be expecting another one. No. Every opportunity to engage, even in your locality, begin to engage.
Well, begin to engage is a good way to end the show. Thank you so much once again, Samson Tinubu'S. Well, viewers, this is how far we can go tonight on the show. Do not forget that you can leave your thoughts, you can leave your comment on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also download the RapidTV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your night rest. Bye for now.